Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to be explaining how Pixel Lab works, how it functions and everything about it that you need to know at a glance. The first thing is the function of this dustbin icon right here. It is for deleting an object. When you click on it, then you can either choose to edit by clicking on this pencil, or you choose to delete by clicking on it. Then if this is to confirm it, if you click OK, then the text here has been deleted. Okay, now let's move on to this plus icon right here. When you click on it, you see different options. These are the text, current date, sticker, shapes, from gallery and draw. Let's start from text. This text is to input a new text into the design, and this is it. Whenever you want to input a new text into your design, then you click on this plus sign and you click on text. Okay, now to edit this text, then you click on this A icon right here below. Then you click on edit. That is to input a text. Okay, let's write Debbie graphics. Click on OK. So this is the text now as we have written it. So this is how you input it into a design. The next thing, let's click on the plus sign again, is the current date. This is the current date for today, 29th day in September year 2022. So this is the current date for today as seen and shown here. So to go on to the next thing, click on the plus sign. The next thing is sticker. So we click on it. There are different stickers provided on this application, very much. You can select anyone you want as you wish, and it depends on whatever you want to use it for. So there are different ones here, and when you've picked the suitable one, then you mark it around here so that it will be affected in the design. And let's check the next thing is shapes now. This is a shape that has been inputted on this application. Then if you click on this arrow that is pointing down here, then it takes you to a variety of other shapes provided on this app. Let's check it out. Now here we have the square, the circle, half circle, arrow, a triangle, a trapezium, a star, a love shape, lightning or thunder, and different other shapes that is provided here for you to use. So you just pick any suitable one that matches what you want to need it for in the design. So let's pick a circle now. Okay, so this is a circle. We can decide to change it again by clicking on that arrow, then pick this again. Good. So what this radius works for is to curve the edges. You see, as I'm increasing it, then the edges is curving. You can notice that. Yes, so if you reduce it again, it's back to its normal shape. So this is what the radius works for. Now the next thing is the opacity. This opacity, it works on how transparent and clear it is in the design. So if you reduce it now, you see that its color is reducing, it's fading till it's in the lowest percentage. But if you increase it, then it will make it very visible in the design. It depends on how you want it. The next one is the fill color. It depends on the color you want to fill the design with. You can choose either this or this or this or this, or you pick any one of your choice out of all the colors here. And if you want a gradient color, then you click on gradient color, in that it has different shades of color as you want, then you input it. You can either choose one of the ones that have been prepared here, or you just click on this plus sign right here to input a new one. These are different variations of gradients that you can use. Okay, let us pick the first one. Then this, to select the color, you click on this dripping color right there to select the color that you want for it. Okay, so you can decide to choose any color for it. And this, if you slide to this side, is to increase the transparency. We do not want a transparent color on this, so we'll leave it at this other edge. We'll not move it from there. But this is to shift it to the dark side. As you're moving it to this side, it's shifting to the dark side, and as you're moving it to this side, it's shifting it to the lighter side. You see, as this thing is evolving, it's shifting it to the lighter side, and this is shifting it to the darker side. Okay, so that is how it works in that aspect. So when you are done with this, okay, this is also the stroke width. This stroke is to add like another color on the outer edges as you want. So we can just decide to increase the stroke width. You see how it's increasing? It's increasing. As you increase it, then the stroke will also increase. Okay, so the opacity works for the stroke to increase the stroke color or to decrease it, to make it less transparent or not. And the next thing is the stroke color, which will be the color that will be on the edges. Okay, you can either decide to use this or this or this or this red color, or a darker one, or this or white color, any one that you want. You have different colors here available for you to choose from. You can decide to use a gradient too. It depends on your choice and what you need it for in the design. So the next thing is the edges here. These also work for the edges and how smooth you want it to be. This blur radius works on how blurry you want the stroke to be. If you notice now that it is very blurry now, here it is blurry. The stroke is blurry now. So if I increase it to the other side to look blurry, and as I decrease, then the blur will fade. I'm sure you're noticing that now. Thank you. Then you mark it here as an indication and confirmation that you've already done what you want on it. Okay. So the next thing now, let's click on the plus sign, is from gallery. This one helps us to pick images from our gallery into the design, either to be used as a background or to be used in the design to make it look more appealing and gorgeous. There are different elements here that I have in my gallery that I can pick from. You can download these images either from Pinterest or freepik.com or from other websites available to you as a graphic designer to pick resources from. So let me just pick one out of all these to show you what it is really about. Okay, so I would pick this. Okay, so I'll just mark it, and here it is already in the design. I can decide to pick 2 or 3 or 4, as many as I want that I want to use in the design. I can pick it. So let's try it again. Click on the plus sign, click on from gallery, and then I can decide to pick another one out of a variety of icons that I have saved here in my gallery. Okay, so I'll pick this WhatsApp icon. Okay, I would pick this, and then if you want it to be in a circle shape, you can click here to be in a circle shape. It depends on the size you want. There are different sizes here, so it depends on what you want, then you pick from. It is very easy and simple. So I do not want it in any of those formats, so I'll just click on one to one here. Okay, so I'll mark it now as a confirmation that I have already confirmed and I need it in my design. Okay, so this is it right here. I would also teach you later how to erase this background color in the design and make it look more clearer. Okay, so the next step, click on the plus sign, is draw. This draw works for a design in that you can use your pencil to draw on a design. Here is it. As much as you want, you can draw in the design to your desired taste. Okay, so now you can decide to increase or decrease the pen size. This is how thin it is going to be. So when I decrease the pen size, it's very thin now. And this is also for the smoothness. If I increase it or I decrease it, depends on how smooth my design, anything I draw is going to be. You can decide to fill inside. If I draw anything now, it will be filled inside. You see, if I decide to draw anything to be filled inside. Okay, you can decide to use the dash line and neon effects too. Depends on whatever it is that you want in your design. And this blur radius too is to make it look blurry or not. You can also decide to change the color of the pencil that you'll be using in the design. Depends on whatever you want in your design. And also, if you have drawn something with your pencil and you want to erase, just click here and everything is gone at once. Okay, so that is good. And when you are finished drawing anything in your design, then you click on this mark icon here to confirm that you need it. Okay, so the next thing now is to move to this save icon right here. This save icon right here is what you use to save your images after you have done editing it in this application. You can either decide to save it as a project or an image. We'll come back to that later. So this next one here is to share the image or the design that you've done on this application. You can share it to either business WhatsApp or anywhere it is that you need it to. These are what you can share it to. You can share it to that to Facebook, Twitter, Google, WhatsApp, Instagram, Mailbox, anything you need it for. Okay, so let's go back on this. So this next one is to add a text. Any text that you need in the design, you can pick anyone from here. That is how interesting this application is. Okay, so this next one is to pick from options here. Is either to use image from gallery, that is to choose images from gallery, or to make the design full screen, or to, okay, now this has worked, but we do not want this, or to use image from camera. If you want to use image from camera that you take a picture directly, you click on here. To export image again from your gallery, you click the next one. To change the size of our workspace, which is the image size, we'll click on this place too. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, this is the preset width and height that is already customed in this design, but you can also try to change it. We have the square, we have the profile picture square, we have the YouTube channel banner, we have YouTube thumbnail, we have the Facebook cover art, we have Google Plus cover photo, and we have the Twitter header size. There are different sizes of designs that you want, and as you wish, you would find it here. Okay, so let's go back on this. Okay, so the next thing is this arrow going backward. This arrow works in a way that whenever you click on it, an action that you have done will be reversed. If you click on it back, it will be reversed again, back, it will be reversed again, back, it will be reversed again, back, it will be reversed again. That is how it works. And if you continue clicking on it, is to go back to the very beginning of what you have been doing right here. So this is to increase and to magnify it, you know, the design and whatever it is that it works for. Okay, so this next one that looks like a grid is to input margin in your design. We'll be talking about margin later in my subsequent videos and what it works for. It makes your design looks more appealing, it makes it look more beautiful, it enhances its beauty, and also make whatever it is that you input in your design to be aligned in a straight line. It helps in organizing your designs. And so if you click on this right here, you see that you are able to move the lines, able to adjust it to your shape, able to make it suit your taste and use it however you like in the design. So if you click on it again, it is going to disappear. That is how beautiful it works. If you click on these overlapping icons right here, if you click on it, okay, you will see that everything that we have in my workspace here, it is here. So here right here, you can decide to move one lower, you understand, lower than the rest, and that is by clicking on this 8 dots icon right here. When you just click on it and it appears like this, then you can decide to drag down. That is how beautiful and excellent the application works. You can decide to drag down and bring below, you know, to change the position. And whenever you click here, this pencil icon right here, you can decide to copy. When you click on this icon, then you want to copy. If you continue to click on it, you can copy as many as you want. This is to edit. If you click on this pencil icon, it is to edit. If you click on this T, it is to change the size of the what you've written. And if you click on this, it is to rotate. If you click on this, it is to change its position. Okay, you see how it works now. If you click on this, it is to change its color. If you click on this, it is to move it backward. You see that, yes, you see that we have one backward now. And if you click on this, it is to bring it to the forward. Okay, so let's decide to return everything back now to the beginning. Okay, so this is how beautiful this application works. So let's start from these 3 lapping circle icons below now. This is where your project that you've already saved on your device, that you've already done on this application, where it's saved on this app. You know that I told you earlier that if you click on this memory icon here, you can decide to save as a project or save as an image. The benefit of saving as a project is that whenever you want to make a change or an alteration on that design, you can come back to it and then click on my project, and then you pick from it, and then you can decide to make a correction. These are the designs that I've made on this application that I've saved on this application. So whenever it is I decide to want to make a change on it, then I can just click on any one of it and decide to change it. So let's pick one, for example, to show you what it really means. This, click on OK. So now I have the design. I've made this design now for over days, and I still have it here just the way that I have made it. I'm sure that you understand how it works now. That is what I've saved in my project. So the next one now is default. That is the default of how the workspace looks like, default of how it looks like. If you click on it, then it is back to the normal workspace that we have here before. And all these ones are other backgrounds too that have been provided by the application that you can work with. Let's click on this one by one to see what it is about. You see, this one is a 3D text, curved text, vivid, old, reflect, shiny, inner, and this is a plain white background for you to see and use. Okay, so now let's move to the next one, which is this A icon. This A icon, it works in text. Okay, now let's input a new text by clicking on this plus icon right here. Let's write something beautiful here. So you click on edit. Let's write something beautiful. If you click on this TT icon here, you can decide to change it to a capital letter altogether or a small letter altogether. Let's do that now. You see? Okay, let us leave it at the capital letter. Then click on, if you click on this dustbin icon right here, it is to delete, but we are not deleting what we've just written. Okay, so you click on OK. So now that we've successfully written this, something beautiful. Okay, so the next thing now is you click on styles. Then you can decide to either browse from your gallery or save, but we are not doing that now. So if you click on edit, then you edit the text that you've written there. Click on OK. If you click on delete, then you've deleted it. But now let us return that back. That is how this works. Okay, so this is our something beautiful back here. If you click on it, you have it on this icon. So if you click on copy, you have it again. Click on copy, you have different ones that you copy as many times as possible. If you click on to front, you bring one above the other. And if you click on to back, the one that you've clicked on, you bring it, that means it to be under it and below. Okay, so this position, it is a manual positioning, and it works for you moving whatever it is that you've clicked on, which is the text, to however you want it. Okay, let us try it out now. Position. This is the degree of how it works. If you reduce it to 1, if you want to move it, it will be very, very, very slow. We are moving it to the left hand side now, so it will be slow. But if we increase this, let's say to 16%, and we try to move to the right, you see that it is faster compared to when it was in 1%. So that is how this manual positioning works. If you want to move an object very fast or very, very slow, and you want only a slight difference, then just reduce it to 1% and move however you want. It's either to the left or to the right or to the top or to the bottom. Very simple. And when you've successfully done that, then click on this mark sign to activate it in your design. Next thing now is the relative position. This relative position works in a way that you can decide to, whatever you click on, decide to move it correctly to the middle from both sides, and to the middle from up and down. You see how it works beautifully now. If you click on both, then whatever it is that you want to be in the exact middle, you can decide to move this to the edge, to the left edge, or click here to move to the right edge, or here to move to the furthermost up, and here to move to the furthermost down. Then mark it as a confirmation that you want it activated in the design. Okay, so the next thing now is the text size. This is it right here. If you click on it, you can try to increase the text size or decrease it completely. You can try to increase or decrease. You can click here to minus to decrease it, or plus to increase it. Then click on this plus sign right here to activate it. Okay, so the next thing is the padding. The padding in a way that, see, it's increasing the padding in the left side. The left padding, increasing the padding in the left side like this, increasing, and the right padding increasing and decreasing. So that is what this works for. You can decide to click on here to cancel what you've already done if you want to return everything back to 0, but if you want the padding to be there, you can click on this plus sign to activate it. Okay, so the next thing is the color now. The color for the text that you've written. If you click on this color, you can see different colors available here for you to choose from. You can choose a red, or a peach, or a maroon, or a pink, or a light pink, or a magenta, or a purple. Any color that you want. You can decide to click on this plus sign to choose other colors. Okay, so these are varieties of colors. So as you move around this circle, you see different colors that you can use this icon to pick from. And this pencil icon works for color code. It works for the inputting of color code. If you already have a color code that you want to pick exactly, then you just click on this pencil icon, and then you type the color code that you want here. Okay, let's say, for example, let us pick 959595. Let us assume that is the color code that we want. Then you click on this mark icon here. If you click on it mark, then this is the color with this color code. Then you click on OK. And you click on OK, then it will appear here. Then you click on OK again, and that is the color of the text right now. You can also try to use a gradient color to make it look more beautiful. You see, when you click this, okay, let us choose another gradient. Okay, this, you see how its color is evolving and how beautiful it looks now. So you can try to pick a variety of colors and all that. You can also decide to develop your own gradient, create a new one by clicking on this plus sign. You can see how it works now. So however you want your gradient to be, however you want the design to look more beautiful and your text, you can decide to do that for yourself by clicking on this and this. It is for changing the colors, and if you click here, you can pick a new color, and you can also input a color code too. This is a picker tool, and it works for picking colors that have already been used in the design. So this icon will just work and pick any color that have been used before in the design to make it look more beautiful. You don't have to search around for colors again. So just click on this plus sign, and that is successfully done. Okay, so let's change the color now. Okay, so this is something beautiful. So you click on this mark icon to confirm that you want it activated in your design. So the next thing now is the texture. Texture in that you can decide to put a texture on the text. Let's see how that works. You click on this image layers icon right here. Click on it to select a texture from your gallery. Okay, so let's keep watching. Which one do we want? Okay, so let us decide to pick this. You can decide to use this texture for the text. So just click on this mark icon right here to select that this is what you want for your design. Okay, you see now, if you notice, the texture has already been applied. Look closely, and then you see that it has been applied on this same text, that texture that we selected from my gallery just now. The next thing now is the opacity. As I've explained earlier, opacity works on the transparency and how you want it to be visible enough in the design or not. You see that as I'm decreasing it, then it's fading slowly, and as I increase, it becomes more visible. You can use this plus or minus icon to make it work. And this one under is affect shadow. If you enable it, it will make the shadow to at least slightly show, but you can also decide to disable it. Okay, and when successfully done on this opacity, you should click on this mark icon right here to confirm that that is what you want in your design. Okay, the next thing is rotate. This rotate works in a way that you can slightly bend the angle of your design or the text that you've written. Okay, so if you increase it, you are slightly bending it to the right, and if you decrease, you're bending it to the left. You see how it works now? You can decide to move it however you want it to be in your design. You can decide to do it. This is something beautiful. Click on this mark icon right here to confirm that you want it activated in your design. So the next thing is the mask. This mask works in a way that you use it to draw or to mask the effect of the text that you've written. You can decide to mask in mode or mask out, and if you also want it to be in a Bezier mode, you can activate that too. So if you want to activate, you can click on this mark icon right here, and then it is activated. The next thing is the font. These fonts are just styles of writing that you change the text writing to. These are different fonts that have been provided by the application for you to use. You can decide to pick this or this. You see it is changing up here. You can decide to pick this or this or this or this, or any one that you want to use in the design. And when you successfully picked one, okay, these are also my fonts, which are the fonts that I myself input from my phone into the application. I will explain in my subsequent videos how to do that successfully later, and how to also get fonts to use. So I can decide to pick any of the fonts that I have to, and you click on OK icon right here to effect it in the design. Okay, so this is how it looks like, something beautiful. Okay, so the next thing now after fonts is the style. The style, in this style we have a variety of options, which is, if you click on B, it is to make it bold. Okay, you see that it has already been effected now, and there is no changing back. And this I is to make it italic. You see that it has already been slightly bent now and is italic. This I is italic, and U is to underline it. U is to underline it. And this T is to cancel everything that you've already done on that text. Okay, so you click on this mark icon right here to effect it in your design. It is very simple as that. So the next thing is the curve. If you click on this curve, it is to curve the text, and this is different from angle, because angle works that it rotates the whole text by itself, but this curve, it bends the text. Let's check it out now. You see, for those designs that you see that it is slightly bent like this, this is what they use for bending it. Okay, so as I decrease, then it's bending back inwards, and as I increase, it's bending outwards. So you can use this plus sign or the minus sign, depends on how fast you want it to be. You click on this plus mark here to indicate that you want it used in your design. Okay, so the next thing is the text background. If you enable it, you can use any color of your choice in the text background. It's very simple as that. You can use a color, you can use this or this or this. You can pick any color you want. You can also use a gradient color. You can try to use this or use this or use this, or you create a new gradient by yourself by clicking on this plus sign. You can also decide to increase the left padding, to decrease it or increase it, and the right padding to increase or decrease. Depends on whatever you want. Top padding too, you can decide to increase or decrease. You see how it works, very beautiful now. And bottom padding too, you can decide to increase and decrease. Depends on whatever you want. And radius too, it is also to curve the edges. You know, as I explained earlier, this is to curve the edges. You see how it's curving and evolving and changing now. So you click on this mark icon right here to indicate that you want it in the design. So the next thing is to align now. let us assume that we have written a lot of things and want to align it to one side. You can click on this or this or this to align it just to the left, and this is to the center, and this is to the left. This is to align it to the left, this is to align it to the center, and this is to align it to the right. You click on justify if you want it to be justified accordingly, just like we use in systems, and you can click on this mark icon to indicate that you want it to be used in the design. The next thing now is the spacing. This spacing of letters is to increase the spacing between the letters. You see it now. You can also decrease it and make the letters mash together and increase it, whatever you want. And spacing in words is to increase the spacing between these two words, something beautiful. So however you want it, then you click on this mark icon to indicate it. And line spacing too is to work on the lines between two words. You see, if assuming there is another word below this, it will increase the spacing between the lines. Click on this mark icon to indicate. The next thing now is the stroke. This stroke is to add an outer color to this text. Let us enable it and see how it works. You see, you can decide to pick this color or this. It adds an outer color to the color of the text before, like a coating. Yes, you want to use black or use white or use this or whatever color that I want. You also decide to use a gradient too. You can pick new colors from the gallery pick new colors from the app by clicking on this plus sign too. And this stroke width, you can increase it to make it more wider. You see now it's beautiful, and decrease it to make it look more thinner. Anyhow you want it, you will always find it here. Click on this mark icon to indicate that you want it affected in the design. So the next thing is the shadow. This shadow, if you enable it to give the text a shadowy feeling. You see, if you decrease the opacity, then it's going to be less showing. Then if you increase it, it will make it more visible. You can try to make it blur radius and make it more blurry. You see now how it's very, very beautiful. Increase it. And this outer glow is to make it have an outer glow. If you disable it, then it will no longer be there. Offset X is to move it to the right side by increasing, and decreasing to the left side. And offset Y is moving it to the bottom by increasing, and moving it upward by decreasing. Just simple and how it works. Click on this mark icon to indicate that you want it. Next thing is the inner shadow. When you click on the inner shadow and you enable it, it will give it a shadow inside. If you increase the blur radius, it will make it more blurry. And offset X is to move to the right. Offset Y is move to the bottom or down. Anyhow you want it. Click on this mark icon. Next thing is the emboss. If you enable it and you change the lightening angle, just make it look more beautiful. If you increase the intensity, you can decide to increase the ambient light, decrease to increase the specular hardness, decide to increase the bevel or decrease it. So we'll be talking more about this in my subsequent videos and how it works in designs. So, and if there is any part that you do not want to indicate it in your design, you can decide to click on this disabling icon, this times here, then it is not affected. Next thing is the perspective. This perspective works in a way that it will make the design to be slightly pointed to one side than the other. If you enable it and then we decide to move this, you see, he will move this like this or like this by just holding this edge, then it's going to work like this or like this or like this. So however we want it, then just click on this plus to effect it in the design. Then the next thing is 3D rotate. 3D rotate works in that it moves it to the x-axis, you see, by increasing it, and y-axis to the right or to the left. So however you want it to look like in the design, depending on what you want. Click on this mark icon to effect it. The next thing is the 3D text. If you enable it, it will give the text a 3D feeling. You can try to increase the depth or decrease it completely, however you want. And also you can give the depth a color or automatic or gradient, anyhow you want it. And also you can decide to darken it, increase the darkening by using this, and also exclude stroke. You can enable or disable anyhow you want it. And also 3D rotation, this is the X rotation. If you move it like this, it will slightly bend, and decrease, it will slightly bend forward. And Y rotation is to the right or to the left. Z rotation here is by bending it all over completely. And also this stimulate lightning is to give the text a lightning effect. You can decide to enable or disable however it is that you want. You can also decide to change the angle in which the light will shine to it. So mark it now to effect it in the design. The next thing is a 3D shadow. 3D shadow in that it makes the shadow to reflect below the design. Enable it now and let's see how it works out. You increase the opacity, it makes it more visible. Decreasing it makes it transparent. So if you increase the blur radius to 25, expand by how much you want it to expand, you can decide to increase or decrease. And also changing the color to different colors that I want. Okay. So let's decrease the blur radius. And this. So this is to expand it, as I've said earlier. You can decide to decrease it however it is that you want it. You can change the color to any other one. Okay, this is beautiful. Mark it now to indicate. And the last one here is the reflection. Reflection in that to make it reflect like a mirror on the other side. If you enable it, you see that you have it now below, like there is a mirror there making it reflect. You can decide to increase the vertical offset, making it go down and further, and bring it up again. Okay, by decreasing it. So it depends on how you want it to look like in the design. So you click on this mark sign to enable it, and that is all about text in the design. So the next thing is to move to this other icon here that looks like an hexagon, and this is to input stickers into your design. Like I've said earlier, input stickers. You click on any sticker you want to be input in the design. This, if you drag this, you make it bigger, and if you drag it inside to make it look smaller. Okay, so however it is that you want it, click on this mark sign to input it in your design. Okay, so on this object right here now, this works for object and this works for text. On this object right here, you can decide to delete. If you delete it, then it's gone. Let's return it back. You can decide to crop. Okay, so to bring you here to crop, to change its size and all that. Okay, you can decide to copy. If you copy, you have another one. You can decide to bring it to front. If you bring it to front, it will be in front of it. See now. And if you decide to take it to back, it will be at the back of it. And this position works for the manual positioning, moving it to the right or to the left, upward or backward. This is to increase the intensity of how it works. Mark it now to make it effective. And this relative position is moving it to the middle, either to the left or to the right or to the up or to the down. And this is for bringing it to the middle, both in the left side and the right side. Mark it now to enable it. Relative size is to increase or decrease the size of the object without having to use this. You can also do like this. Okay, if you increase, then size is increased, decrease, and it's decreased. Very, very simple as that. Mark it to enable it. And this is to change its color. If you enable it now, then the color will change completely and all that. So you can try to change it to black or white or this or any other color it is that you want. So mark it now to enable it in design. Next thing is the texture. If you select the texture now, it will be the texture of the face cap. Let's pick a texture from our gallery now. Okay, so we can decide to use any of the texture here. Okay, so let us use this. Okay, so if we decide to use this texture for the face cap, just mark it now. Mark. Okay. Mark. And to make this effective, I think we would have to disable the color. Okay, so when we successfully disable the color and the texture, this texture that we have input from our gallery is now the texture of the face cap. Mark it. The next thing is the opacity, and this is to make it more visible. I told you earlier that it works on the transparency. If you decrease, it will make it less transparent, and if you increase, it will make it more visible. Mark it now. So the next thing is the color filters. If you want to add a hue or a saturation, just like you do in editing, increase the brightness and decrease it, okay, the contrast and all that, just make it look more appealing and it will suit your taste. Mark it now. So the next thing is the stroke. This is to give it an outer color like a coating. So if you enable it, you see now you have it. And this, you can use different colors that you like, and this stroke width is to increase it, the stroke, or to decrease it completely. Mark it to enable it in the design. And this next one is the eraser. So to erase any part of that object that you have selected, you can use this eraser to do that. You see, as I'm erasing this now, so you can try to use the eraser to erase anything you want from that object that you have selected. It's either you pick it from your gallery or you pick it from the application itself. Just know that this will work for it. Then you click on this mark icon right here, mark. Then you see how it has worked now. It has already erased that part. So the next one now is to mask. This is to draw something, on that symbol. I'll talk about the effect of how this works properly later. Enable or disable. Then mark it. Then it's going to go. So this next one is to erase color. I said earlier that if we input an element from our gallery, this works in removing a part of the color from it. You see how it works now? Okay, so let me practice that and how it's going to work. Let's click on this plus sign right here to pick an image from our gallery. Okay, let's say that I decide to pick this WhatsApp icon right here, and I input it in the design. Okay, so if I click on erase color now and I enable it, it will make the background less visible. If I increase the tolerance, wow, then mark it, then it is only this WhatsApp icon that is visible now. I can decide to change its color or do any other of the aforementioned thing to it. So the next thing now is rotate. If I rotate it by increasing or decreasing this angle, mark it. And the next thing is the 3D rotate. You can decide to rotate to x-axis or y-axis depending on how you want it. Mark it now. The next thing is 3D shape. If you enable it, it gives it a 3D shape, either in perspective or in oblique. Perspective or oblique. You can decide to increase the depth or decrease it, however it is that you want it. You can also decide to give it a depth color, automatic or gradient. You can decide to darken it to make it look more darker. Just watch this WhatsApp icon now, darken and decreasing, and also to change the angle of the oblique rotation. You see how it's rotating now? Okay, and also this Z rotation to rotate it however it is that you like, and stimulate lightning too. If you disable it, then it will no longer have the lightning behind it. Okay, so mark this to effect it in the design. The next thing now is the perspective. I've talked about this earlier, is to slightly curve it to one area, and if you enable it, then it's going to work just like that. If you mark it, then it is like that in your design. Okay, so the next thing is the shadow. This is to give you a shadowy feeling. If you enable this, then it's going to have a shadow depending on the color that you input in it. So you can decide to make it more blurry by increasing the blur radius, offset X, bringing it to the up by increasing it, and bringing it down by decreasing it, offset Y to the left by increasing it, and to the right by decreasing it, however it is that you want it. Mark it now to make it effective. The next thing now is the inner shadow. If you click on this inner shadow and you enable it, it will give it a shadow inside of it, blur radius to increase it, and give it another color. You see how it works now. Okay, so blur radius to make it more blurry, offset X to take it upwards as you increase or decrease, and offset Y to the left or to the right. Just mark it now. Okay, so and the last one here is emboss. If you click on this emboss and you enable it, okay, you can try to change the lighting. You see how the light will begin to evolve from different angles into it. And if you increase the intensity to make it look more intense, if you increase the ambient light to make the ambient light to be increased, the specular hardness or the bevel, decrease the bevel, it will work on the item and give it a 3D feeling. Then if you mark it now, or you can decide to disable however it is that you want. So that is all on how this works. So the next one is these box icons that are lapping on each other. This works on the background of your workspace. This works on the background of your workspace. If you click on this color, it is to change the color of the background. Let's check it out. You see, it changes the color of the background. You can decide to use this, then mark it, and it is affected. This transparent is to give the background a transparent color. We do not want that. Okay, so you can decide to change the color back, and you can also use a gradient color. As I've said earlier, you can use this or this or this or this, and you can also click on this plus icon to create a new gradient for whatever that you want to use as the background. Mark it now. Then image size, as I've said earlier, is to pick from different image sizes that you can use for your workspace here. Click on OK. So the next one now is crop, and that is when we have already entered something that we want here. So the next one is image, and this is to work on a particular image. Well, the images from the application itself. This is to use it as the background. I said earlier that this works on the background. So these are different images that you can use on your design as the background. Different images. You see how this works now? Different images that you can use, this or this, anyhow you want it. Anyhow you want to, you can select different beautiful ones from here. Okay, so mark this to enable it in design, and this is from gallery to pick an image to be used as a background from your gallery itself. Let us pick one to see how that works. Okay, so we'll decide to pick this, make it fit into what you need it for, mark it, and then it's already used as a background. You cannot move it around, it is used as the background itself. So, and this one is from camera. This is to take a direct or straight image at the moment to use. So that is all on how this works. And this other icon here that looks like a wand, a magic wand, if you click on it, it works also on the background. If you click on rotate, it will rotate the image in the background and how it looks like. If you click on vignette to give it, let's enable it and see. You see these dark edges, that is what it works for. And noise here, if you enable it, to make it look more darker and noisy a bit. Okay, and enhance is to enhance the how it looks too. Then mark it. Okay, so the next thing is stripes. If you enable it, to give it the stripes feeling. If you disable it, to disable the stripes, enable it to give it the stripes feeling, and mark it to enable it in design. And brightness to increase the brightness. You see how it's changing now, and decrease the brightness. Mark it now to make it effective. And also the contrast, to increase the contrast and decrease it. You see how it's working now. Okay, so mark it. And this also works for the hue to change it to another color. You see how it's evolving, and decreasing it to also change it to another color. So mark it to make it effective. And the last one here is the saturation. If you increase the saturation to evolve to another color, now it works in normal editing, even in our cameras, and decrease it to remove every other color from it. Mark it now to make it effective. So that is all on how Pixel Lab works as an application itself, and it's a very beautiful application for you to use. It requires no data connection at all, and it is very simple to use. Any elements that you want to use in design, you'll have to have downloaded it into your device by either using websites provided for you as a graphic designer, such as freepik.com, or getting it from Pinterest as an application itself. Then you click on this plus icon after you finish designing everything to save as project into the application. You can decide to use sample. You can decide to use sample as our image name to save it. Let's click on OK, and it is saved successfully as a project. And if you click on it again, you can save as image. So when we save as image, dimensions is default. Dimensions is default. Then you save to your gallery. To save the image now to your gallery, it is saved successfully in your gallery. So that is all on this video on complete introduction to Pixel Lab application. Thank you very much for watching this video, and do not forget to like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and drop your comments. I would really love to hear from you. Thank you.